Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another great money talk this morning. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. I want to give a big shout out to you guys for being on today. And I hope you guys are ready for a great week. So, this week, right, classes, let me give you a rundown of this week, what our theme is for this week. So this week is all about understanding financial concepts, right? Concepts like the rule of 72, the X curve, the dime method, and the 10-20 and 50-20-30 formula. I'm actually going to introduce even the fin number this week to you guys, right? Concepts that helps you to understand what is it that you need, all right? What is it you need? And how do you find out these needs? What other things must you have in place and how they work for you, right? So let's get into understanding a little bit more about things like the rule of 72 today, because that's what today's topic is, right? What is the rule of 72? How how did we discover this thing called the rule of 72? Why was this thing, it is what it is? Because you know many people did not understand this whole rule of 72, and why is it important? Why must we learn it? Why must we understand it? And how can it work for us? And how is people using it against us, right? So all of these things are so vital for us to learn in order for us to really propel and really take control of one's future, right? So let's start with this one. Let's start with the fact that the rule of 72, right, was created by a gentleman named Albert Einstein, right? Albert Einstein. And Albert Einstein is the same gentleman that, many of us today learned to be one of the most smartest person in the world, right? One of the smartest person in the world, they said, right? Guy had a crazy IQ. So now, what did Albert Einstein said about the rule of 72? Well, let's break that down. Albert Einstein said, if you take 72 and you divide it by whatever interest that you're receiving for your money or against your money, if you divide that into 72, that equals the years it takes for one money to double for them or double against them. Okay? That's what I want you to know. That's what you need to learn. So what does he mean by this? Let's use different examples of different places where people put their money. Let's say that inside of your bank, right? Let's say that we're eight, because 85% of the population save inside of a bank. Okay? 85%, right? If not more. A lot of people still to this day save in the bank. Okay? They save in the bank. So now imagine the fact that you was able to take whatever interest that you're earning in that bank, and let's say that the bank gave you 1%, right? Let's say that your bank gave you 1%. So you may think and say, man, my bank is really good. They give me 1%. All right. I have a good bank. I mean, I got an awesome bank. My bank give me 1%. So at this very moment, you may say, I love my bank. Okay, so they give you 1%. So how do you know if they really love you? So you're going to take 72 divided by 1, and that equals 72, right? That equals 72. So remember, whatever is the equal is the amount of years it would take for one's money to double. So if you were holding, say, $1 million, right? Let's even go to the extreme. You are holding $1 million in your bank. It will take you 72 years, because 72 divided by 1 equals 72. So it would take you 72 years for your $1 million to even to become 2 million. So how many of you here would like to wait 72 years for your million to become $2 million? But here's the messed up part, right? Here's the messed up part. Even if you had $2 million in the bank, and if the bank was to go belly up, Do you know that the FDIC will only insure $250,000 of that $1 million that you have in the bank? Do you know that? Did you know that? So even if you had $1 million, right? Even if you had $1 million, the FDIC only insure $250,000 of that $1 million. So that means you would lose money. OMG. How many of you knew that? Right? So that's why you got to learn these things, right? But we're not here to talk about the FDICs and rules and all that. We're here to talk about interest now. Here's another thing that we got to look at, right? I want you guys to think about this. What if you were able to find do you know the average rate of return? Do you know what's the average rate of return in one's investment over a period of time? It's about 8%, right? It's about 8%. So imagine you take 72, right? Imagine you find somewhere where your money could double, and you're able to get 8% interest on that money. So you take 72 divided by 8 equals 9. So that means the money will double every 9 years, right? Your money will double every 9 years. So what if you was able to find 12%? 12%. 72 divided by 12 equals 6. Your money will double every 6 years, right? Every 6 years. So that's why you got to realize that it doesn't matter what you earn, guys. All right. Let me make this very clear for you guys. It doesn't matter how much you earn. And it also doesn't matter how much you keep. The only way one could build wealth is if they understand how interest works. It's the interest upon what you earn. It's the interest upon what you keep that truly matters, because that's how you truly build wealth. Interest. Interest is how you build wealth. And if you want to be wealthy, you better have interest and learn how interest works, right? Guys, that's the thing. That's the thing. Okay. And I want to remind you that the way to build wealth is with interest. Now, here's what many people don't understand now. Here's another thing. You may say, well, Kian, I do get good interest. You know what, Kian? I have very low interest against on my credit cards. I have low interest on my loan. I have low interest on my mortgage. I have a low interest on my car note. Ooh, awesome. Now here's the question I'm going to ask you. What kind of interest do you have? Do you know the difference between the interests? Do you know the difference between compound and simple interest? It's important for me to know what interest do you have. Do you have a compound interest? Do you have a simple interest? So why must we know the difference? Why must we know the difference between the interests? Well, let me tell you why. The reason why you got to know the difference between the interests, because one tells you how many times will that money grow in one period, and the other one also tells you how slowly or how fastly the money will grow. So if you don't know what kind of interest you're getting on your money, I will advise you to truly take that time to learn. Okay, take that time to learn it. Please call after today. After today, I need you to call your credit card company. I need you to call your mortgage. I need you to call your car note guy. I need you to call your whoever own your student loan guy. I need you to call these people. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? I need you to call them. You know why you got to call these people? You need to find out this is the question you're going to ask them. All right. You ready for the question you're going to ask them? Ask them this question. Hey, what what kind of interest do I have? Is it compound or simple interest? And then I want you to ask them, hey, what's the interest amount that I currently have as well? Because if you don't know this, if you don't know the interest, how are you going to use the rule of 72 to know when this money going to double for you or against you? If you don't know the compound or simple interest, how are you going to know how many times is this money going to be compounded and how it grow and how quickly it will do? If you don't know if it's a monthly thing, if it's a quarterly thing, a semi-annual thing, or is it an annual thing? Man, come on. How you going to win the money game? So here's what you got to think about. I always say if I going to borrow someone's money or use a credit card, I want to know, hey, me personally, I would rather it be an annual simple interest, right? I would rather be an annual simple interest. Can you imagine if our credit cards would have been an annual simple interest? How amazing would that be? How amazing that would be. So guys, you really gotta take this thing to a whole nother level, right? You know, don't fight for less payment, fight for lower interest. I'm telling you guys, don't fight for less payment, fight for lower interest. Go negotiate with your credit card and say, hey, how can I get a lower interest? Do the same thing with your loans, your thing. And when it comes to your investments, go to your investor or the person that you're saving the money with and say, hey, how can I get a higher interest? But remember, know your risk tolerance and your tax tolerance before you make that decision as well. So what is simple interest? All simple interest is that every year, the money that you put into invest, it will earn the interest of that year. For example, let's say that for the next 5 years, you're earning 8%, 8%, 8%, 8% for the next 5 years. If you put in $10,000, that $10,000 will only earn $800 every year. Okay, that's what that means. It means that you only get interest on the principal every year. Okay, every year. Now, compound interest works a little different. I love compound interest. Do you hear me? Compound interest is like one of the best kept secret. That's why everybody uses it against you. Everybody else use compound interest against you, and they probably give you more opportunities to use simple interest when you pretty much want to have your money with them. They give you simple interest, but when you take their money, they give you compound interest. You see what I'm saying? How is that fair? So what is compound interest, one may ask? Well, compound interest works like this. Let's say that the first year you earn $800, right? You earn $800 on your $10,000 investment. So now that gives you a total in the first year of 10,800. So now second year, when you invest, right, you're not going to earn 8% on the $10,000. No. You're going to earn interest on the 8% on the 10,800 from the first year. That's the difference between compound interest. You see, compound interest, you earn interest on the principal plus the interest from the previous year. So now that's 10,800 that you earn an 8% interest on. So that probably puts you out around $864, right? Imagine that. How awesome is that? How cool is that? So that's how your credit cards is doing it against you. Now you got to find out, is it a compound interest? Is it compound interest that they're doing every month? Right? What is the interest on your money every month? Right? So we really gotta really, and I mean truly and really have to pay attention to this because guys, these folks been making money off you for years, compounding it every month, but your money's not compounded when you're investing it every month. At least most people it isn't. So we got to really pay attention to that. We really do. We really truly do. Here's another thing that we got to learn about this rule of 72. You got to know what is the real rate of return. Okay? Let's say that you are still fortunate to find somewhere where you can get good interest. But you got to know, do I really have good interest? Do I really know what's the real rate of return? So how do you find out what is the real rate of return that you got on your money? What is the real interest, right? You got to be interested in the real interest that you get on your money. So here's the calculation. Write this down. Write this down. I'm gonna give you a chance. Get a pen and paper. Write this down. You should already know this if you've been with me for a while now. But let me tell you this: the way you find out what is the real interest in your money, you got to always calculate and take out taxes. And then you got to also include inflation. Let me give you an example. Imagine you was able to get 3% interest on $100 that you save, right? So now you make $3, right? You made $3 because 3% of $100 is $3. So now in America, you pay what's known as capital gain tax. Remember I told you, you got to understand taxes. You're not going to pay tax on the whole $103. That's not how it works. You pay taxes on the gains in America. It's called capital gains tax. You don't pay tax on the principal. You pay it on the gains because the principal was already taxed. Okay. So now you got to pay tax on the capital gains, $3. Now, right now, right? Pull out your calculator. I want to show you how to do it. Let's say that taxes, federal and state, was that 25%. So now it's up to you to go find out, does my state tax federal and state? Some states don't, like Florida. Florida doesn't do, if I remember correctly, income tax. And so doesn't Texas, Pennsylvania. Um, there's a few other ones. I can't remember. There's not a lot, but it's a few of them. But those are the states that I remember. The reason why I remember is because that's the places that we were looking to own homes in, right? But these states still have federal, but they don't tax on like even your retirement plans and stuff like that. All right, so that's really cool too. That's something that you guys should know. That's why a lot of people move to places like Texas and Florida and Pennsylvania because they don't get no tax on their retirement and income tax. But let's just say for argument's sake that it's 25% across the board for state and federal, right? So you have $3 times that by 0.25. That means 75 cents will be minus from $3. So that means you have $2.25 left over after taxes, right? So now you have a total, okay? You have a total after taxes of I'll give me a second. You'll have a total of $102.25. Okay? So that's how much money you have at this moment now. $102.25. So now let's say that inflation, okay? Let's say that inflation was at 3%. Right? Let's say that inflation was at 3%. So now that means you got to minus $3 from the $102. So now we're going to minus, right, $3. And that means you now got left with $99.25. Right? So after the fact that taxes and inflation comes in the calculation of everything that would just happen, the $100 that you saved is not really worth $100 because of inflation and taxes. Wow. Isn't that crazy? Right? Now, what if the same scenario, you was able to find somewhere where you get 5%. 5% on your $100 gives you $5. If you want again, 25% on taxes, right? So times that by 0.25, that gives you $1.25. Minus that from $5, you're left with $3.75. So after taxes, federal and state, if it was at a 25%, you now have $103.75, right? So let's say inflation again is at 3%, right? At 3%. You now take away the 3%, and there you're left with 100, okay? You're left with 175 cents. Imagine that. Imagine that, guys. So what I'm trying to show you is that if you're not earning 5% or better on your investments, on your portfolio, then you're losing the money game, guys. Okay? You're losing the money game. You're really losing the money game. Right? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy how you could literally calculate what is the real interest on your money? What is the real return on your money over these years to come? You see, if we don't pay attention, then we never would win the money game. We won't. We won't win the money game. So that's why I said you better have interest. If you want to be wealthy, you have to have interest in learning how interest works. It's either it's working for you or someone working against you. And it's almost like I'll ask the question, do you want to be the player or you want to be the one that's calling the plays? Right? It's easy to be on a winning team. It's easy to be the star player. But does the star player knows how to call plays too if they need to? Right? Do the star players know how to call plays if you're calling if you're trying to win the game? So that's what it's really all about, guys. It really, 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 truly comes down to this. And I hope you guys got a lot. I hope you guys got a lot more clarity, right? It's all about clarity. So it's all about understanding. It's all about how can I win? How can I understand? This is not making sense. Is it making sense? Is it making you feel a little bit more confident? Do you feel that you can accomplish more, right? Do you want to accomplish more? Do you want to obtain the things that you need in your life? What do you want in your life? And I tell you, if it's pertaining to wealth, you take the time to learn about interest and start taking an interest in the interest that you get on your money. Call your bank, call your credit card companies, call your mortgage, call your car note people, call your student loans, call the loan guy, call them. Don't let this land on deaf ears, guys. This is serious. At this moment, you need to take action. Action. Because this is so important, right? Interest is important. Interest, is it compound? Is it a simple? You got to ask questions like that. And read your Saving the Future book. Read your Saving the Future book. Read from page 11. Okay? Read page 11 all the way through. And I promise you, you will walk away more empowered than anything else. All right? So tomorrow, we're going to cover the X curve. It's another concept that you must learn and understand. All right? We're going to talk about that tomorrow. X curve. Why is the X curve important to learn? Right? just so you know, every Monday through Friday and even weekends, we provide workshops. You go to www.worldsystembuilder.com/WS-US. All right. If you're in Canada, go to worldsystembuilder.com/WS dash can CAN. All right. So all our workshops that takes place, I did get some update. So it is at 2 p.m. Eastern time and 10 p.m. Eastern time. All right. 2 p.m. Eastern time and 10 p.m. Eastern time. As you know, 30 by 30 financial literacy campaign, our financial education isn't an option, it's a necessity. That's why World System Builder is committed to educate and empowering 30 million families by the year 2030. And we want to make sure that every last one of you walk away educated. Also, some updates on our financial literacy classes. Our 4 steps to financial freedom is now Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays only. We no longer provide that on Sundays. It's only 3 days a week that we provide these classes at 10 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Same logins, same passwords, same everything. And you guys could do there, all right? Also, we provide, we do our still doing our, overviews, our campaign and overview. Just if you ever open and want to learn more about how to become an educator with us, you want to be a campaigner or you want to become a student with us, or maybe you want to go to our coaching program, come and learn what is it that we do. And this is every Tuesdays at 7 p.m. or Saturdays at 12 p.m. Now, either me and my fiance or a lot of my business partners and educators, they will be there to educate you guys and share with you what is it that our campaign is all about. What is the opportunity have in tell for you, right? You want to learn about that? You're a little bit curious? Come on by, right? Also, I want you guys to check out my brother Rory Douglas on YouTube, on all social media platform. I advise you to go subscribe to his YouTube channel where he talks about how to scholar. He talks a lot about finance, life, and things like that. So definitely go check him out. All right. And as you know, every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern time, we provide financial literacy here on Money Talk. So we encourage you guys to be there and definitely always come on and support. And remember, check us out on Spotify, right? YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Instagram, Facebook. Support the movement, right? Support the movement, spread the word, tell a friend to tell a friend. And you can find us on all platform Money Talk with Mr. Finance, or you could go to our YouTube and Instagram at BShynaz Legacy, BShynaz, and Facebook and Instagram and so on. All right. So thank you guys. And remember that you are one decision away from changing your future for the better. So always remember the choice is yours.